I'm going to do this. Welcome. Welcome back to Good Show Reacts. I guess I'm Anthony Mako, and you are
drinking water.
Brandon Sharp.
I'm Brandon Sharp, and I'm sick as a dog over here, so bear with me.
So Brandon has no voice, and he's really mucking up our recording schedule here. That's all right. We'll give you a little grace there.
No,
Brandon.
I mean we're right in the heat of the moment, and we're trying to crank some stuff out, and
yeah,
my voice gave out on me.
It's just not cooperating. That's all right. It happens, man. It happens.
Yeah.
But I actually thought I'd take a second here just to update everyone on what's going on. So we dropped something last week. We dropped a reaction to, what the heck was it?
The Crown, season 5.
The Crown. We dropped a reaction to The Crown. And now, oh, by the way, I had to hear about that this week over.
Oh, because
got a lot of flack from our
Harry.
What's that?
Was it because of our Harry stuff?
Yeah. From our hot royal takes. I got a lot of flack for that. But so we dropped that. This week we're dropping another just reaction episode. This week we're reacting to Atlanta, the final season of Atlanta. But we are still also preparing for the upcoming season, which will drop next week. So we're heading right toward that. If you want a little preview, it's going to be an episode on The Peripheral. But for now, this is just a reaction. And I want to say, don't forget, reaction episodes are spoiler full. We're going to drop that we have no rules for reaction episodes. So there might be there definitely will be a ton of spoilers if you haven't seen the final season of Atlanta. Number one, in my opinion, I don't want to bury the lead. I thought it was incredible. And so you should go ahead and pause this episode and go watch an entire season of television and come back and watch this 10-minute episode.
Yes.
But yes, okay, so I don't know, big question first, Brandon, just what are your thoughts?
So for me, this was a return to form.
Yep.
I felt like Atlanta started strong. I felt like season 3 just wasn't quite my thing. I didn't think it was bad. It just wasn't, in my mind, as great as season 1 and 2. Season 4 might have surpassed everything for me. It might be my favorite season.
It's absolutely my favorite season.
So, yeah. I mean, so like it returned to form and then some. So I felt like this is why I love Atlanta. This season 4 is why I love Atlanta. So I was so glad that they ended this way.
Yes. I'm kind of on the and then some side of that. I think it's not that they necessarily did anything new in this season, but I do think they brought several different pieces together that have been in different seasons, and just everything happened and all cylinders were firing on this season. It was all of it. We had a little bit of the like allegory episodes, and those all pretty much for me worked. And we had a little bit of but I mean, one of the things I think we talked about, and I kept trying to sell you on, hey, come back, watch this. And was the ensemble is probably intact more than any other season. Is that fair to say? I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely fair. And that is honestly the only thing that would have kept me watching throughout the rest of the season.
There's just so many episodes where all 4 of them, or at least 3, sometimes there's the main 3, but the 4 of them are in a ton of episodes, and then the 3 of them are in even more episodes. So just really, really good. Anything stick out to you about this? What stuck out to you about this season?
I mean, it's funnier than ever. I think that's the main thing. Is I don't know who your laugh out loud character is, but mine's always been Alfred.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know. I think the way he reacts to stuff and his just little one-line comments, reactions, they're class. I mean, they're so funny. And I think he was really classic Alfred in this season.
Yep.
I don't know, like, would it be helpful to recap season 3 a little bit, why we didn't like it as much?
Sure.
Or, I mean, so season 3 was, they were in Amsterdam, right?
Yep.
So like we were out of Atlanta. Everyone was kind of doing their own thing. A lot of people had standalone episodes, but for me, the thing that really made it not work as well there were episodes that departed from the cast altogether.
Yep. Bouncing out of the story. Yeah.
What are we calling those?
I called them like allegories or whatever.
The allegory episodes that featured 0 cast members. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it felt like Donald Glover had a lot to say with season 3, which absolutely. This is your show. You should have, have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
But I watch this show because of the cast and their chemistry and the way they interact with each other. I feel like season 3 just didn't have a whole lot of that.
In my opinion, he had just as much to say, not just him, obviously. The creators of the show had just as much to say in season 4 as they did in season 3. And they said it differently, but there was season 4 had some of the most meaningful episodes, I think, in the entire series. Here comes a big spoiler, but the way that Ern and Van get back together and kind of work that out, it wasn't easy. It's never been easy for them. And even the way they work it out is not easy, but they show the dirtiness of all that and the messiness of trying to make a relationship work as opposed to just like, massive romantic appeal or something like that. So he had tons to say. He had a lot of cultural critique in this one too. He had a lot to say about wrestling with being like a hip hop star and being a hip hop star in this current generation. The episode where he's
kind of being like an over the hill almost hip hop star, kind of past their prime,
but also very much not liking where it's going anyway. So he wouldn't want to be a hip hop star in the modern environment anyway. Sure. So, but then sort of wanting the money for, like that, just like it always has. But there was a ton of that. The death of the former rapper, like his hero basically, and wrestling with that. Oh, I'm heading toward that. So that was, I don't remember which episode that was where the scavenger hunt for the rapper who died. That was pretty early on though. And
that was the first episode.
Okay. So it was the first episode, and then certainly Alfred, but then everybody sort of is wrestling with their mortality for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And just kind of like, and then they even ended it in a very funny seems cheap to say, a very lighthearted way. And even with like a what if it was a dream, or a mushroom trip or something like that.
I want to bounce back to Van and Ern getting back together.
Yeah.
I think it was very interesting to see, because in season 3, you really feel like they've just moved on from each other. They're never going to return to where they were. They don't have those feelings anymore. We see Van and she's speaking like fluent French or Italian in one of the episodes. And I don't know, she's having like this identity crisis. And anyway, they take their daughter on a camping trip. And this was episode 7, Snipe Hunt. And he's pursuing this career in California, and he's like, but I want you to come with me. And she goes, I'm not just going to come as Lottie's mom.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like, oh my gosh. Like they haven't been on the same page in a long time.
Yep.
They haven't been honest with each other in a long time. And I love that the show went right for it. Like, no, we're going to figure this out right now, because this show doesn't always give you the payoff that you want. Like, it doesn't always wrap everything up with a bow. So I love that he was like, and kind of scoots over closer and he's like, no, I'm in love with you.
Yeah.
It was so great. I mean, that was
the
best part of the season for me, at least.
Yeah, for sure. And the way they did that episode too, the two of them were very much like platonic or whatever during the episode. They weren't hinting toward that at all. It was like, okay, we're going to be co-parents and we're done with wrestling. Like, we've already worked our way all the way through this relationship, and it's just not going to work. And so that whole episode that's not going to work is not going to work. And then all of a sudden they're honest with each other, which was very cool. I actually had another one of those situations where I thought that was the end of the season. I'm just not counting episodes.
It would have been a great ending.
I know.
Let's be clear.
I think I sent you something about how great the season ended, and I was like, "Oh shoot, there's like 3 more episodes." But yeah, it was good. It was good for sure.
Little funny moment, and we don't have to keep doing this because I know it gets annoying. But episode 6, Crank That Killer.
Yeah.
At the end of the episode, when they're recapping, what'd you guys do today? And Al's like, I ran into somebody that I had a beef in high school with, and it was that guy that was like shooting at him.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, how'd that go? I think he's still mad at me. Like, and that's what I'm talking about. That's classic Alfred. Like he never is like, man, that guy started shooting at me, or he never tells the whole story. I love that about him though. He always downplays what's going on. He's out on the farm, almost gets killed like 3 times.
Yeah.
And he's like, are you doing all right out there? He's like, yeah, I'm good. Just chilling.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just love his kind of whatever attitude about some of that stuff.
It's great with the timing too, because that's the exact same episode where Darius and Ern are like talking about whether they should kiss to get those shoes or not. And then right as soon as they come together to kiss, the guy gets shot by the guy that's shooting at Alfred. Oh. So he doesn't even see the kiss. So they did it for no reason. It's just the timing of all of it's perfect. Yeah, it was really good.
So
and classic. I also love how Atlanta can pull off this like Alfred fighting the, I guess, wolf or whatever. What was that thing? Oh, pig.
It was a boar. Pig. Yeah, it's a wild boar.
Yeah, a wild boar. So him fighting that wild boar is just completely ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
But it just totally works within the context of the show somehow.
Thank goodness he had his cast iron pan.
Did the those allegorical episodes, I don't know if I'm using that right, but whatever. Those allegorical episodes.
Episode 8 is the big one. I mean, that's
the big one.
The Goof Who Sat by the Door. It's basically a fictional story about a CEO, an African-American CEO that never was. But in this tale, this man who was a illustrator from Atlanta becomes the CEO by accident. And it's kind of like a little bit of a rewriting of the backstory or the history of the Goofy movie.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Which is I love the Goofy movie, but they put this just different take on it. I thought it was very interesting. I thought it got lost in this season a little bit just because of how great the episodes were.
Yeah.
But I thought it was good. Like it was like a classic Atlanta bottle episode. So I thought it was good.
Yeah. Also, I was also thinking of the Tyler Perry one. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're talking about Tyler Perry, but
for sure
that one felt a bit allegorical also.
Episode 5.
One of my favorite things about Atlanta is that even the allegorical ones, it's like every time I try and think of what the meaning would be that I'm taking away from it, it's not, I don't have it exactly. And I got to look at it from a different angle. I got to think more about what he was maybe trying to say or what I can learn from it. And so even in that one, it's like, there's a pretty clear comment being made. And then there's also all these side comments about how well, everything is weird. I
feel like they spelled that one out a little differently. Like at the end, someone says, you're exploiting the people you're claiming to help, which it was. I think that was the message of the episode.
Yeah.
And I think it was absolutely taking on Tyler Perry a little bit. I mean, he's the only prominent African-American producer, filmmaker who has a huge studio in Atlanta. I mean, it has to be him.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought that it was one of the odder episodes.
Oh, for sure.
But it was good. It was really good.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. Anything else? We don't have to belabor the point.
Yeah. Last thing. Ern's mom.
Yeah.
Taking off with Ern's grandpa and just speeding out of the parking lot. And I love how he wasn't in on it. And his aunt cracks me up. She's funny.
Yeah.
But I don't know. When they get back to the studio and Alfred's like, man, why did you bring her here? I don't know. I thought that was another really great episode. That's episode 4, Light Skinned.
Yep. So many good episodes, just all of them. So anyway, if somehow you took your foot off the gas on Atlanta, you definitely need to go back because this
was me, by the way. That was me. I watched one. I stopped. I was like, I don't know why, but I was just like, I can't do this right now. Atlanta is.
Let me suggest possibly this, because what's interesting is the season 3 ended May 19th. Season 4 started September 15th.
Oh, that's exactly why. Yeah, that's exactly why.
You just you got through your Atlanta and it wasn't quite time to come back to it. It's the exact opposite problem of Ted Lasso. We weren't quite ready for it yet, maybe.
Yeah, season 3 almost killed me. So this was so good.
I don't even think it has anything to do with how good or bad season 3 was. I think it has to do with the wrong size break they took, which was it was too short to be an actual season turn, and it was almost like we were continuing on. It might be like Yellowstone ends up being. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because that's coming out in summer, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So, but they haven't even started filming yet. This season of Yellowstone's going to be straight garbage. They're not even
I
putting any
heard
time
that.
into it.
I heard they're going to wrap it up great. I heard it's going to knock your socks off, buddy.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. So yeah, go back to Atlanta. I would definitely say that. Highly recommend this season. And if Brandon has nothing else to say, I will just say
I'm going to add one thing.
Yes.
I wanted to correct something you said earlier. Our first episode may drop the first week in February, just kind of based on my voice situation. And
okay. Yeah.
when we end up, however this works out, but we'll have content for you on Wednesday every week leading up to that first episode, no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay,
so there's always going to be something coming out, but our first main episode is probably going to be February 1st.
Yeah. Because we might do another react next week.
Yes.
Yeah. Gotcha.
That's
okay.
it.
Gotcha.
All
Sorry, we don't fight in front of the children, Brandon. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see you all for something next week.